Hey guys, how's it going? It's another kind of chilly morning this morning. So, based on the background of what I was talking about yesterday, the whole your kink is not my kink, comes into like some of the basics when going to an event. Apart from the whole, research and, that sort of stuff, some people get into kink via swinging or they get into swinging via kink. Um, Swinging is a kink, but also there's quite a few people for which they're not the same and you just don't mix the two. Some do both, some do either or, whatever floats your boat. But there's a few things that both of them have in common, and there's a few basic rules in general scenarios. Is that one, you don't touch unless you ask. Touching and then asking at the same time is not the same thing, You talk, ask permission, all that sort of stuff. Not interrupting a scene. Now, a scene can actually be really active, like as in like an impact play, or a scene can also be kind of a service kind of scene where someone is obviously serving something to somebody. If someone's like obviously kneeling and serving to somebody, um, by all means you can watch, but don't just go, "Hey, why are you doing that?" You know, if they're serving to somebody, usually talk to the person being served to. This is sort of, may I ask, this and that if you're curious about it. Um, so generally don't interrupt. Even during aftercare, if someone's finished a scene and they've put someone into aftercare and looking after them, even if the person who's a dom or the top leaves them to do something else or talk to them, keep in mind that they are aware that that person is there and that person is there in their little happy space, going up and sort of interrupting and asking, oh, what was this, what was that, can be a bit sort of you know interruptive to their space that they've just spent the whole session achieving. It is a fine line though, because some people don't mind if someone's curious and they're with the person that they played with. If you pull out, quietly, can I ask a few questions if you don't mind? They might go, yeah, sure, or no, can you leave us alone? I'll talk to you after I've finished with aftercare, because you don't know what they've negotiated, how they do their aftercare. There's been sometimes when people have been left alone in a corner, being in the happy space, and other people come along and goes, oh no, I think there's an emergency, they're this or that, but you don't know how that person reacts to scenes and again what has been negotiated. Manners. generally, generally, if in doubt, rely on your manners. Um, and I've seen this a lot, particularly in a lot of more public kink events, is that there's a few people, the new people come in from swingers clubs and all that, that come in and have a look, and they make all sorts of comments while they're watching a scene, quite loud comments, quite inappropriate, and that can be very disruptive to somebody actually doing a scene. Things like, oh, I wouldn't do that, and blah blah blah, and all sorts of other things. You know, making jokes and all that sort of thing. It's generally not well received, particularly in a more public space. And depending on how well you know them, if they're complete strangers, you don't know them, just be respectful and be quiet. If it's not your thing, walk away. Don't say, oh, I wouldn't do. Again, get up, walk away. Not your thing. Go somewhere else. If you have an issue with it, if you think that there might be a danger, by all means, if there is a DM there, have a chat with them. They might be well known in the venue to play that particular way, and if you go to them, they'll go, oh, yeah, we know them. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We know what's going on. So there's that. For obvious reasons, it's a bit rude, and there are quite a few people who um, it seems like common sense, and they'll go into it and it's very exciting, and a lot of people also will drink a lot before they go to a venue. Again, that's not generally well received, and if it's a private place, you might not find yourself invited there again. Just saying. Public place, again, it's a different story, but when in doubt, you can ask pretty much anyone who's there, host, that's not scening or in aftercare or whatever otherwise, use your discretion. Before, you can always ask the host. You can even say, like, hey, I'm new. Do you mind if I, do this or that? And generally, when people go to these places, they either already know people. If it's a public place because they're friends or someone they know is going. If they're going by themselves, there's usually like a list or something, and you can always ask a host, say, look, I'm new, I don't know anybody, I just stumbled onto this. Is there anyone that I can talk to because I'm interested in X, Y, Z? And then they can hook you up with somebody who can run you through all the protocols for a public event. For private parties, you usually have to know somebody to get in, and they're putting their reputation on the line to get you in. So if you mess up, they're the person that gets in trouble. And you might think, oh, well, so it's not affecting me. And goes, yes, but it affects these people. So they're going to be very careful about who they refer to. And that varies in degrees how strict a private party will be. And it also varies in degrees with how you behave and the protocol, and what appears to be a relaxed place may also in fact have quite strict protocols underneath the surface, such as I'm in a dynamic that doesn't stop me from playing with other people, but there's very sort of strict rules there, such as I can do negotiations, I can go to various people for different things, but I will talk to my D-type about it, my owner about it, and if, because it might not be their thing, or might be something that I'm curious about, and they'll go and do that. But then the top, or the person who I'm talking to about play, will also talk to my D-type to make sure that, I'm up on the level. It's not to say that I'm lying, but it also is to cover their back to say, okay, is there anything that I have not told them that might be an issue? I might not be lying, I could just completely forget, and things like that happen. Also, generally, for some, and it will be different, manners to say, okay, thanks for letting me play with your sub, and all sorts of other stuff like that. And it could also be vice versa, where a sub gets to play with someone else's dominant, and they will thank the dominant for playing, but also thank, the sub, saying, oh, thanks so much for, playing with me, and thank you for allowing, not allowing the dom, but thanks as well as just being manners and polite. It's like borrowing somebody's or borrowing something off somebody, and you thank them for borrowing it, and even though you return it in good condition and stuff like that. It sounds kind of weird when you think of it like that, but generally that's the way a lot of things go. And like I said, it will vary between people, dynamics, public and private events. But when you go, you can ask questions. A lot of people will be more than happy to answer. And if you have in doubt the safety of something, if you know that there's a DM there, you can talk to them and say, look, I'm not so sure, and they will have a look, or they'll say, no, we know who they are, that's okay. If it's not your thing, zip it and move somewhere else to something, and watch something that you do like. Okay, no one is making you stay there, no one is making you look. So that's just it. I mean, if you're staying there and you're watching, but you're saying you're not into it, you gotta wonder if you really are into it or not, or whether you're just sort of, Anyway, that's it for me on a Hump Wednesday. Hump Wednesday. Anyway, like I said, just reach out to people, have a chat, see if you can get yourself up a network of people that will be able to help educate you on the differences between the swinging scene and the kink scene, and people who go between the two. There are quite a few who do, and they are a valuable resource to talk to, because they will be able to get a bit more nuance for you with regards to behaviour as well. Not that either one or the other won't in either camp, but they'll also let you know what it's like to go in between both swinging and kink. Anyway, that's it for me. Keep calm, stay kinky. Bye.